Welcome back to Morning Express, and it's time for The Way It Is, where we weigh in and look at what's happening in the political scene. And of course, there's been a lot of activity, especially during this time of nominations. And let me go straight to introducing the members that we have on the set. And to my extreme left, we have Crispus Yankem, who is a political analyst. Thank you for joining us. We also have Francis Masinde, who is an aspiring member of parliament on an ODM ticket, and that is for Embakasi East. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Last but not least, we have Ambrose Weda, who is a lawyer. We're also expecting Dan Manzo, who is a member of parliament for Makueni, who might join us as we continue with this particular engagement. Now, just a quick reminder that you're welcome to participate in this conversation, and you can do that through Twitter. We'll also open up the phone lines, and we'll display the number that you can call should you want to call and participate in the conversation. We welcome you to do that. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning for The Way It Is. And let me start with you, Francis Masinde, because we do know that the ODM nominations for Nairobi were concluded late last night, albeit with a lot of questions, disorganization, late start. Maybe your feeling, first of all, on how the primaries went.
For me, since I had a lot of interest in the primaries, they were, and it being my first experience, and I felt that they were deliberately choreographed to always benefit a particular, probably favorite candidate, if you like. So these disorganizations are not just a coincidence; they're actually by design. And what I witnessed yesterday was utter sham and voter fraud that was there since morning till late in the night. I mean, it was chaos.
You've mentioned and you say deliberate. When you say deliberate, explain yourself and why do you think it's deliberate?
You see, yesterday we did the Nairobi ODM primaries. All the materials that are used in the ODM primaries, and indeed all primaries in all parties, come from Nairobi. So you actually have no reason to have late starts in Nairobi. For instance, there are places like 3 wards that began at 2. Now, the third part is a particular aspirant is the one who was delivering the materials. As a particular place, party lists, the ink would deliberately vanish, yet they were there in the morning. All of a sudden, presiding officer will just look you straight in the face and say, we are still looking for them, we cannot find them. Yeah? So it was...
So from your experience, and since you seem very sure that this was deliberate, who do you think is behind this?
Wow. It's very tough to say who's behind this. The names I might drop would be a lot of assumptions. But what I can say is this comes because of the hunger that is there within the party officials or the neighbor officials, if you like, because there's a lot of money that changes hands and a lot of phone calls that are made to suit a particular candidate who makes the results go a certain way. Yeah, that's what I can say. For now, I can't necessarily name names without having evidence, yeah? But it's always points to a particular direction. Until now you find the evidence, that's when you can actually come out.
All right, let me come to you, Crispus. And do you think what Francis says is accurate, that there's a deliberate attempt to ensure that the elections are somehow disorganized? And to use the words of someone, he said that there are some politicians that thrive in chaos.
An interesting question, Michael, and I think I want to begin by saying poorly to my brother Francis, because he's now waking up to reality. That is the nature of our political party system in this country. Political parties in Kenya are owned by individuals, and unless you're close to those particular individuals, then you stand no chance. That is the hard reality that Francis must wake up to, smell the coffee, and move on. It is very sad for him to be introduced to politics in that kind of way. We've seen actually what has been happening all through the country, in Ukambani, whether it is in Nyanza, whether it is in Central, whether it is in the Rift Valley. Particular people are coming through, and those particular people somehow have connections to the leadership of political parties. But Michael, having said that, I think it is important for me to say that this exercise is somehow different from what we saw in 2013. that is the nomination exercise, because of various reasons. One of the reasons is the fact that many persons in the country or aspiring leaders in the country had not actually appreciated certain positions. For instance, the governor's position, the Senate, and the members of parliament. I think these are positions that in 2013 were somehow not appreciated by many people because right now you've seen a lot of contestations. Now that people believe, when you look at the governor's position, this is like a small president. And you've seen a lot of competition that it has actually attracted. So going forward, I think it is very important for political parties to design ways of dealing with nominations for us to be able to grow our democracy.
All right, Ambrose, you're a lawyer, and well, according to Crispus, it's time that political parties designed ways. However, judging from what Francis mentioned, it looks like it's intentional. So maybe it is intentional that there is no design.
No, I think that omnibus statement is very wrong if you are looking at where we are today. There were two parties doing nominations. One is called Jubilee Party, another one is called ODM.
Also, we also had Wiper doing
Wiper was doing nominations in one county called Kitui, and it took them a week just to do one county. So them, they were not doing, they have not even done Makueni. They feared Mutua in Machakos. So there were only two parties. And when you say political parties, you have seen that Jubilee had a false start. The president came in, the deputy took charge, and you have seen what is going on. It has been clear, it has been straight, it has been fair, free, save for complaints of people who lose. On the other hand, my brother, ODM has a philosophy that a party should have the right to have his candidates based on loyalty, based on affiliations. It's not based on you marshalling your supporters, then they elect you, then you take charge when you have been an outsider. This is not just yesterday. This was there in 2007. That is when I left ODM. They did exactly the same. What Professor Nyong'o has done to the governor of Kisumu County is what he did to me in 2007, going in a corner somewhere and announcing himself the leader and then get. So ODM, as you can see, was not meant to do any nominations. It's only that the law forces them to do nominations. That is why every county, there is no single county where they can say, this one, we did well, there are no complaints.
Is that also possibly what we could say about Jubilee? Is there any county where we do not have complaints, or it is clear that we have a winner?
Now, let's take the hotspots. Just like Kisumu would have been a hotspot, Siaya would have been a hotspot. Here, a hotspot would have been Kiambu, Nairobi, Murang'a. You have seen what happened. You have seen Kabogo himself saying, my brothers, even in my own polling station, I've lost, I've left. You have seen that if originally the so-called establishment candidate was Peter Kenneth, everyone was like he has been brought, equation 2022, he lost square. But all of us who lose must complain, oh, I was rigged out, I was rigged in. Otherwise, if you see those hotspots, even Murang'a, the favorite should have been Jamle Kamau, a close a friend of the president, and me, Buffalo, the other fellow was taken as an outsider. He lost. And the president said, hallelujah, the way it is. Look at Mandago and his colleague in Washington. There are people who are perceived to be for the deputy president, and they were going to. They lost, and it went, and nobody has made.
So as far as you're concerned, the Jubilee nominations were free, fair, and the losers are just crying foul.
Yes, they are just crying. Otherwise, they were the advantage. The losers are actually the people they had the money, they were close to the president and the deputy president, they looked favorite. But the system was put in such a way that they could not manipulate. Otherwise, if they was to manipulate, we would have manipulated for Peter Kenneth. But he lost.
Michael,
yes.
Just a quick one on what Ambrose Weda has said about Jubilee nomination exercise. I think Ambrose Weda should not be taking pride in the fact that this process was actually restored or put back on track after the deputy president came in. I think looking at Jubilee nomination exercise, one would wonder exactly why it went wrong in the first place. And for me, two people must have been kicked out of office by now. That is Raphael Tuju, the acting Secretary General, and the Executive Director, Winnie Gushu, because these are fellas who actually tried to bungle that particular exercise until the Deputy President came in. So Weda and team must not be taking pride in that. Going forward, I think the malaise that we are seeing in ODM is the same malaise that we saw in Jubilee. So Weda should not be sitting here and lying to us. This is a fact. Our political party system must be fixed.
Allow me just to react on these things.
Yes, and I'll come to you, Francis.
To err is human. Understand, my brother? We make mistakes. The original mistake was that the Honorable Tuju and his team had planned for a lesser turnout, and therefore there were less ballot papers. This came to fore on the day of nominations, when now the turnout was much larger than they expected. This was escalated to the president and the deputy president. They said, look, we must concede. And you saw the president coming on national TV and say, we are sorry, we have made a mistake, we are going to correct. The deputy president, please take charge. That to make mistakes and then you say, you made a mistake, let us go for blood. After that, let us look at what Trudeau has done, what Gushu has done, what the vice president, the deputy president has done, and we say, hallelujah, they have done a good job. You are looking for blood where things have gone well. We will not allow people like you to come and mess.
Just a quick one. Just a quick one, Michael. Just a quick one. I appreciate the fact that the leadership of Jubilee came out and apologized. That actually worked for them. But I do not actually buy this notion that we did not anticipate the turnout was going to be low. What does it tell you when you look at places like the Rift Valley and Central? We know the people who are registered there. So it is foolhardy for you to imagine that the turnout wasn't going to be.
True, but Crispus, the argument is that normally with nominations, the turnout is very low compared to the general election.
Michael,
So
you need to look at the dynamics. We had a number of people running for various political seats. These fellas had mobilized. That should tell you that we needed to plan better.
Let me come to you, Francis, because you're one who has come out and you've said you are grieved. First of all, to get it from you, generally speaking, we've hardly, apart from Kavogo, who has come out clearly and said, I concede defeat, albeit with issues, we've hardly had any aspirants accept defeat. Are you one of those who possibly is reading that maybe there's defeat? Because I'm not sure whether they've been tallied yet, but you're already crying foul.
They actually have been tallied. They have been tallied. You see...
and you lost, according to those figures.
According to those figures, yes, we lost, yeah. Now, this is what I think. This is going to be a turning point in Kenyan politics, this year's nominations. Because now you've seen the pump in the turnout, the number of big names that have fallen, how the public is now very aware of what is going on, or now the
How
need
is
to
that going to be a turnaround?
Yeah? It's going to turn around because now this trend that we've had the past years of the party having favorite, choosing whomever they want, doing nominations as a PR exercise or as a formality, if you like, you know, at the end of the day, some of these tactics that we use in nominations to fix certain people in certain places are not necessarily that easy to play during the general elections. So we are going to see a lot of seats being lost or shifting from the red constituencies to the orange or to the blue, if you like, or from the orange to the red constituencies in the general elections. Now, you remember there was also this issue of party lists and members, you know, these infiltrations, and actually this thing of one party ensuring that we make sure the weaker candidate on the other party prevails, so that in the general election we can be able to, you know. So that actually is real.
Okay.
And
now that you feel aggrieved and you feel from your statement that it was deliberate by some party organs, will you stay in a party that evidently is not democratic, despite the fact that it claims to be?
From my little knowledge of what may be going on, yeah, I don't want to be quick to judge or to blame the party as a whole, because I was participating in the primaries and I saw with my own eyes the people who are actually culpable of these things.
And who are
I cannot necessarily say it's the party leader, the deputy party leader, for now, but because I don't have visual evidence. Now, these are the returning officers, the presiding officers, who are usually compromised to go a certain way. Money changes hands. Now, if you have a presiding officer who actually believes in democracy, you wouldn't have these complaints. Now, I understand that the party leadership will want to stay away from all these shenanigans that goes on under them, the returning officers, the POs and all that stuff, yeah, because it is a lot for them to handle.
But surely the returning officers must be getting direction from somewhere.
No, you see, that is, we don't have that for a fact. I cannot come and say, by the way, I tapped a phone call of
And Francis, isn't this why the parties will remain the way they are? Because you feel aggrieved, yet you're still willing to support the party.
The party may remain the way they are, but the electorate will not. Okay, you have to understand.
Michael, let me hear from Wenda, then I
My younger brother, let me tell you. You saw what happened in Jubilee. There was initial problem. Then the top party leadership came out and said, hey, this is the way. A fish starts rotting from the head. When you buy a rotten fish, the body may be okay, it's the head which is rotten. That's why you check the gills. ODM, when things appeared rotten, the party leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, is still hiding somewhere under the bed to date. The deputy party leader, Sultan Joho Mwenyewe, again under the bed. They have not come out to give any direction. When everything is in a mess, be it Kisumu County, be it Busia, be it Nairobi, be it where. So when you are not coming out to say, look, my leader has failed me, it is just out of fear. Fear that when you go to a Makasi, some people will slap you. But the truth is this, the leadership of ODM deliberately wants this messed up process so that they allow people they want to come in and to ensure that if you are not loyal, maybe your loyaltometer was put behind you and it was found you are not in. You could be bought, so you are out. Otherwise, you see what happened in Jubilee. I think there are people who have won, that if it was the party's choice, they would have been left out.
Right.
But because the people decided they come in, they are in.
Okay, let's hear from Christmas. Your take on Francis's.
Remember, I began by saying that our brother must wake up to reality and smell the coffee. My brother, politics is not easy. And if you are joining this thing, then you must make that conscious move for you to be able to stick in there. But I want to tell Francis one thing, that being in politics and being a party leader is like being a general of some sorts. When you are going to war as a general, you must be able to choose your lineup in a proper way. If I know that Francis is a weakling, he does not toe the party line, his loyaltometer, the way Ambrose said, is in question. There isn't any way that I can put Francis in my team. That is a fact, and that is something that people must now start appreciating. That when I'm going or I'm contesting for a particular seat as a president, I must be able to choose my deputy who's loyal to me. I choose my governors, I choose my MCAs, because ultimately these are fellas who will help me mobilize the votes. And you know,
and that is why I'm saying,
because we are still growing our democracy, we haven't actually reached there, whereby somebody can come in and go through as somebody who's
simply because they are popular with the masses.
Absolutely. Okay. But let me,
let him respond to that.
Okay. That concept of loyaltometer and all that stuff, I agree with it, yeah? But everything that has a beginning comes to an end. And that's what I'm telling you. 2017 is going to be a turning point. Yes, the parties may keep following those loyaltometers and such like trends, but the electorate will not take it anymore. They are no longer owned by parties. Now you can see the number of independent candidates that have come into play. Most of them are going to win because the electorate has made up its mind.
Will you consider going independent?
I'll tell you, Michael, let Francis stop imagining that the electorate is going to change simply because Francis is now trying his hand in politics. Let me tell you what will enable us change. Because I've said it before on this particular show, that we still vote on tribal lines. That is a fact, Michael. What can only help us change as a country are the institutions that we've created and the fellas that we're putting in place to manage those institutions.
For instance, Crispus, in
Yes.
terms of institutions, I think we have so many institutions that simply lack the teeth to bite.
Michael, you don't
If it is
listen to
laws,
what
we
I'm
have enough
saying.
laws.
Michael, you don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the institutions and the people that we put in there, do they have the will to enforce the law?
You see,
Look at
let
IBC.
me-
Look
let
at
me
the
speak.
register
I'm
of
the young
political
one here,
parties.
yeah?
Okay,
Yeah?
let him speak,
You
Ghana.
see,
Yes.
I agree. People vote on tribal lines. Now, let me bring in a new spanner in the works. Like, let's look at the NASA lineup, for instance. Yeah? I'm a lawyer myself. Yeah, there is a lot of public outcry from that tribe in the fact that they feel they have been shortchanged in this.
And we also have Kaya elders. We had a story not too long ago
lineup.
who've come out and said that they're not represented.
Because no Luya name will be on the ballot paper. Yeah, they will not be voting Musalia
As a president
as
or...
anything. Okay.
As Prime Minister.
Yeah, prime, premier, all that stuff. Yeah, it will be Raila and Kalonzo's name. Yeah, and many feel that they have actually been sold by.
They've been conned.
They've been conned, or they've been led to a dead end. Yeah, by our beloved big brother Musalia. And they are actually marshalling each other to a point where it's going to look a little bit grim for our lineup, yeah? So this still goes in to beef up my point that it is going to be a turning point this time round.
So are you in short saying...
Just because we have been bundled up there does not necessarily mean
that
the
you
electorate will follow. You see, it is changing. I understand you tend to want to lag behind on those old trends. Please, even you need to wake up. Things do change.
So what are you trying to say? I'm actually trying to understand what you're saying.
The other day said, I don't know where he got it from, but it sounds in Luya that Vindu Vichenjanga. Things do change.
All right.
Things are changing.
Let me have
that is just a song.
Allow me on this.
Yeah.
This allegation that we vote on tribes is wrong. It is not true. It is a lie. This election,
why are you not
please
voted
allow
in
me
Nyanza?
to put my point, please. This election, we are going to have Honorable Raila and Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. The last election, we had Honorable Raila, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, and Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. If you go to Luya land, 3/4 voted for Raila. They didn't vote for Musalia. We have 41 tribes. There were only 3 top candidates. In 202, even the Luos voted for Kibaki. The only thing is that we have community leaders who shepherd us to certain directions. Kenyans are willing to vote for anybody depending on where their leader goes. If Raila today backs Uhuru, I am sure the Luos will immediately vote for Uhuru. So this story we are saying, oh, Kenyans are tribal leader, whatever, that is not true. Number 2, we want young people like you to be angry. When you are hurt, you come up and say, no, I do not like this, and I refuse. But I can see you are flip-flops. In 2007, nilichezwa na Raila na Honorable Nyomi. And I told them, I have left your kraal. I've left it to go. Where did I go? We are with Uhuru. I am a Luo, Uhuru is Kikuyu. So this thing of tribal leadership, you must stand up to something. If you are not standing up and you expect there will be change, we are in ODM, it is not Raila, it is who, then keep cowardice with you. Take somebody like Sonko. Sonko was with Raila. Raila told him, we don't want this one away. He jumped over, he won. Then he jumped over to Uhuru. Even here we were saying Sonko, why chair mwingine? He came and said, ballot. Now he has won. This is how you must, as a young man, stand up. Even if you are standing up against Raila, against Uhuru, you must stand up and say, I refuse in the name of Jesus. But if you are also flip-flopping, oh, you know, then who will bring this change?
All right, Francis, your way forward in terms of the question that I'd asked earlier, now that you feel aggrieved by the party organs for one reason or the other, are you going to remain in a party that somehow is working against you unfairly?
For now, I will.
Why?
Because I don't have, like he keeps insisting that I'm flip-flopping, I work on evidence. He may have experienced certain things in his political career. I haven't. And I don't want to based my decision based on his.
So then, would it then be wise for you to withdraw the statement that it is intentional and deliberate? Because for you to say that, it means there is evidence that you have.
It is intentional and deliberate, but by whom? I did not say the party leader.
But it's within the party.
I didn't say by the party leader. You see, whoever is culpable is the one who should actually pay the price. Yeah? And those who were seen ferrying these materials into different directions, you find a ballot box or a ballot papers belonging to certain polling stations, you meet that car in the middle of the highway being driven into some supermarket somewhere. The driver needs to, and he's with an AP, a policeman, with a presiding officer who is actually the boss of that particular polling station. He needs to have some level of independence in how he carries out his mandate. But he decides, he made a decision whether it is to take that bribe or whether it is to accept to be dissuaded by either the powers that be at that particular point. He is the one who is culpable. Whether it's the party leader or not, that is yet to be discovered. We cannot jump to blaming Raila, yet I have not, don't have
no evidence.
Yeah, I don't have.
All right, gentlemen, let's hold that thought. I want us to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Remember